Hello, all you Warhammer fans and Tacticus addicts out there. Welcome back to some more Warhammer. Today, we're going to be going over the June update. Hope you all had a great weekend. It's a Monday, getting a fresh start to the week. Hope you're all well. I apologize for being a little late on this one. It took a few days for this update to show up in the game. I believe it didn't update until we got the new Battle Pass. But there's some exciting new things coming. We have a new Machine of War coming out. We got a couple of Chaos characters that are getting some love, as well as some updates to Guild Wars. So let's jump into it here. So introducing new war leagues for Guild War. Guilds are now part of one of 17 war leagues, and with this feature can improve the rewards they receive from participating in Guild Wars. That sounds awesome. The War League modifies how many war credits players receive for playing a Guild Wars battle, defeating a character during the battle, and winning a guild war. It also defines the content of the chests obtained for winning or losing a war. So depending on how well you do and how far you get, it'll change up the contents. I'm assuming the higher you get in the war, the better. As part of the change, we have decreased the reward for participation and increased the rewards for defeated enemies for a slightly different distribution of the same total amount of war credits that can be earned in a war. So that means you're going to want to go ahead and defeat as many characters as possible. So this is good. So this will help with like let's say you just spend one war token to do one battle. You get some participation credits. This will actually encourage players to want to play more battles and defeat more characters. So that's a good thing there. Increase the rewards for winning a war in Battlefield level 4 and 5 for you guilds who are doing those battles. Guilds now earn war trophies from playing Guild Wars, and after earning enough war trophies can rise into higher war leagues. Losing a match in a higher war league can cause guilds to lose war trophies, so be careful there, while losing against a more powerful guild is less impactful than losing against those that are weaker. Guilds will be initially placed into war leagues based on their activity in Guild War. So there's a couple of breakdowns here. New guilds and guilds who have not participated in Guild Wars in the last 4 seasons will start in the first war league, which is Iron 1. So if you're brand new or your guild hasn't participated for at least 4 seasons now, you're going to be starting on the bottom end. The top 2,500 guilds of the last 4 seasons start in War League Bronze 1, which rewards the same total amount of war credits as guilds are used to until now. A bit more if you're doing Battlefields level 4 and 5. So there you go. If you've been active the last 4 seasons, you're going to be starting at a higher rank, which means you'll be able to earn the same amount of credits that you've been getting thus far. Any remaining guilds will start in War League Iron 4. All guilds who have participated in Guild War over the last 4 seasons receive 5,000 war credits as a starting gift and compensate for any reduced war credit income for guilds not starting in Bronze 1. So there you go. If you've participated in the last 4 seasons, you're just going to get, bam, 5,000 guild credits right there. So if you're looking to unlock some characters through the guild shop, then you've got a good boost right there. All right, some new stuff coming out. We have a new Training Rush event. This will be going on from June 13th to June 15th. And Training Rush is always good to earn you some extra coins, but it's also good for earning the Blessed Requisition Scrolls, which it seems like that's becoming more of a thing. We'll get into that in a minute when we get into the Guild War requisitions here, or the Blessed Requisition loadouts here. But you're going to want to start saving up those Blessed Requisition Scrolls because there are more events coming for that. We're going to have the third and final release or unlockable event for Mephiston starting on July 6th. So I'm actually pretty close to unlocking him. I'm looking forward to this event and unlocking him. So happy about that. So mark your calendars. July 6th, Mephiston's third event is coming back. All right, now getting into Blessed Requisitions. So I'm noticing a trend. Last month and also now this month, it looks like there's going to be a Blessed Requisition Scroll event at least once every week. So there's going to be 4 different events this month. There were 4 different events last month, and so I'm thinking this is probably going to be a thing moving forward. We're going to see Blessed Requisition options for every week, changing up every week for you guys. So beware of that. If you're saving up your requisition scrolls, if you didn't know, they do save and carry over until the next event. So look ahead to which character you're going to want to get and save those scrolls for that particular week. So from June 12th to June 22nd, you're going to get the option to get Boss Golgorts, the Parasite and Mortrex, which is one of my favorite guys, Snotflaga, Isaac, Aleph Null, and Gibboscraps. This particular event is only available for players who are power level 15 and over. After that, June 23rd to June 30th is going to be for the Incursion event, Blessed Requisition. You're going to be able to get Magan Ra, the Death Leaper, Eldrion, Zibia, Holland, and Makotep. After that, July 1st to July 8th, you're going to be getting the Legendary event. And this is going to be featuring characters for the Legendary release of Mephiston. So you're going to be able to get High Marshal Helbrecht, Anafet, the Neurothrope, Brother Burkhard, Angrax, and Yazagor. And then after that, July 9th to July 16th is going to be the Space Wolves. So you're going to get the chance to unlock all the Space Wolves characters if you're working on unlocking those guys. So about 1 a week so far, with the exception of the first one is going to be 10 days long. All right, we're well into the Battle Pass season now. So this started June 8th. It's featuring Rask. Rask is the World Eater's Terminator with a flamethrower and chain axe. I actually really like Rask. He's maybe not, for me at least, not as tanky as Angrax and Maladis. But he's got this really cool ability where whenever he teleports in on the first turn or after he defeats an enemy, he rewards a shield to himself and anybody in base contact, which is a really good feature. So Rask, if you're looking to unlock him, we got the Battle Pass on now. The campaign event is returning, and this is starting on June the 12th. There is no new campaign event, so you're still going to have the option for the Adeptus Mechanicus versus Death Guard and the Ultramarines versus Tyranid event. So if you're still working to farm shards on these guys, I recommend that. It's going to be listed later here in the notes, but you'll be able to farm Sygex, the Cataphren Destroyer, in the Adeptus Mechanicus event. All right, we have a new character coming this month, and that is Asoth Kumadra. Not sure if I pronounced that right. Vexillus Praetor. He's unlockable in the Auric Champions event starting June 15th. So he's the shield bearer guy for the Adeptus Custodes. And I got to briefly test him out when we had the survival event recently. And I kind of liked him. I think he's going to be really good for those of you who are in higher onslaught tiers. And you kind of do, you tank up in the corner with Isabella and Calgar and everybody in Gravis armor, because he's got a shield and he prefers he gives a shield bonus to everybody around him. So I think that'll be really helpful in wave events. There's a new Guild War season starting on June 21st, and so that'll give you the chance to check out all the new changes coming to Guild War. We have a new Incursion event for the Machines of War starting on June 30th, and this is where we're going to get the new Machine of War. It's the Adeptus Sororitas Exorcist tank, and this is a really cool tank. It's basically, you got the Rhino chassis, and on the back of it is an organ piano with a Sister of Battle sitting up there playing all the crazy notes, and when she presses all the different notes, it fires off rockets out of the organ tubes off the top of the tank and barrages your enemies. So really looking forward to that. We have a couple new NPCs for this battle. It'll be the Battle Sister and the Zephyrim, which is, I believe, the Jump Pack Sisters of Battle. And then their intention is to introduce the new branching structure to all incursions over time. So if you didn't know, there's a new branching structure to Machine of War events. It started with the Death Guard's Plague Mortar. And so this basically gives you the option of, let's say at Battle 3, instead of playing Battle 3, you can go over and select to either heal your characters or get an NPC on the battlefield with you for the rest of the incursion. I tested it out and it's pretty fun. I do like getting the NPCs because they're an extra character for you to have on the battlefield, and they soak up some damage for you. So this should be happening in the new event for the Sister of Battle Tank. Some tournament arenas coming up. June 11th, you're going to have Infested power-ups, which I believe are going to have Tyrannid Gaunts on the battlefield for you. And then June 24th will be Faction War. We have some upcoming quest events. The next one will be on June 18th for Forcus Oathsworn. That's the new Dark Angels character with the big sword. I've actually had a lot of fun with this guy. He's surprisingly versatile with his Overwatch attacks, and then also being able to switch it up with his AoE attacks. And then you can really pump up his damage when you get friendly characters in base contact with him. So you'll be able to use the Ultramarines and the Black Templars as allies to fight the Death Guard. Then on July 9th, you're going to be able to do a quest event for Overlord Anufet, which is the big guy for the Necrons. 6 new Onslaught tiers have been added, and there's been new faction themes added for the Genestealer cults and the Blood Angels. Alright, getting into some character changes here for Chaos. Harkon Worldclaimer has been reworked a little bit. His health has been increased by 8%. He's been given the Terrifying trait, and they've updated his Herald of the Apocalypse ability. So increased minimum damage by 20% and maximum damage by 44%, so he's going to pump out more damage. Now also deals damage to a second target in line behind the main target. So this is pretty cool because if you see in the little artwork, he takes a spear and he's spearing a guardsman, and it's impaling the poor guardsman all the way through. So you can imagine it probably punches through that guy and then stabs a guy right behind him. So this is going to be a fun new ability for him. Doesn't reduce the armor anymore. Instead, the next attack from a friendly unit against the same target will deal additional damage. So you do this attack on, this would be good for, if you're doing guild raids with him. You do an attack on the enemy, and then the next attack against that enemy from a friendly character will give you a bonus damage. It does still cause the additional trigger of battle fatigue. Cleaned up passive ability Headclaimer Harkon's damage now also increases from enemies that flee as a result of his attacks. So this stacks with his ability to trigger battle fatigue, which makes enemies flee. So he gets a bonus damage for every guy he kills, and then he's also going to get damage for everybody, additional damage for everybody that flees. So real good change there. Headclaimer now also affects the damage and hits of Harkon's active ability Herald of the Apocalypse. So good changes for him there. Ahriman's getting an update as well. His passive ability to strengthen Striker teams for guild raids and to remove the last instance of the cap damage multiplier in favor of mechanics that are easier to understand. So here we go. Friendly units attacking enemies on fire hexes with psychic or flame damage now deal additional damage, and it's uncapped starting at 25% and maxing out at 33%. So apparently before this, he was only able to grant so much damage to these bonus attacks, but now he's going to be able to just straight up grant as much as 33% additional damage, which is going to be good for him and the synergy with his other teammates. He also deals additional damage when they are Chaos units, so good for the Chaos teams there. Compared to the old ability, this is a net gain for affected Chaos units and the Neurothrope, once enough levels of the Neuroparasite are applied. While other non-Chaos units that deal Psychic or Flame damage will have a slightly lower bonus from Ahriman. So that's going to want you to encourage you to play with a full Chaos lineup with this. Some balance changes as well. Mephiston now has Rapid Assault, which is good because this brings him in line with the rest of the Blood Angels lineup, who all have it. Karn replaces Vitruvius in the Rogue Trader starting June 8th. Shards, this is what I mentioned before, shards for Sygex, the Cataphron Destroyer, can now be obtained in the campaign event on Battle 30. And to make room for this, they've done some adjustments here, shifting battle rewards to different battles here. And you can see the list there below. All right, getting towards the end there, there's been some bug fixes. I'm pretty much going to go over most of these because there's some good ones in here. Fix an issue where Galatian's Macroplasma Incinerator could be triggered by an opposing Galatian's targeting zone. I had no idea this was a thing, so good fix there. Sarquail's Grim Retribution now correctly triggers from attacks made by Karn's the Betrayer ability. So that's his ability to do a retribution attack counting as Overwatch during the enemy's turn. Karn's attacks from the Betrayer now correctly target when he is taunted. Judd's premium avatar is now sparkly and colorful. Cool. I didn't know that was missing. I have the avatar, but I don't have it equipped. Fix an issue where a multi-hex unit could still be obscured while targetable. So I didn't know this. Apparently, so multi-hex units are like units that take up 3 hexes or something like that. And they could be obscured even though, or marked as obscured, even though they were targetable. So I didn't know that was going on. Corrected abilities that add additional hits to an attack, so they only trigger the additional hits once per attack. When Jaeger's Holy Duel does a normal attack, Calandus Wire Weave now correctly retaliates. So that's Calandus, that's his, or her, I guess, passive ability to do an attack when somebody engages her in melee. Fix an issue where some characters wouldn't have an outline. That's good. Tank Smash's Unstoppable Momentum now correctly triggers abilities such as Martial Superiority and Sworn Protector. So that's the basically where the Black Templar Standard Bearer, he's got this ability where when somebody goes to make an attack against him, he gets a free swing at him. And so now this correctly triggers against Tank Smasha. Fix Trophy Taker for Tarvak Tooltip to correctly only count defeated enemy units and not objects. Okay, so that might have to do with Salvage Run. Fix minor typo in the description of Exemplar of Hate for Asmodee. Fix incorrect wording in the next level description of Serene Unifier for Anshi. Fixed Treason of Zinch for Magnus. The ability now targets enemy characters randomly, regardless of the order of deployment. Fixed summons created by copied units in the Magnus and Thaumachus boss fights not having the summon tag. So that's good if you're if you for some reason you're working on something that requires you to defeat summons in particular. All right, last but not least, this is a big fix here. Fixed a bug with the resilient trait preventing units from being defeated from multi-hit attacks, even though the attack total should have triggered overkill. So this is like the Electro Priest for the Adeptus Mechanicus. So sometimes what would happen is you'd go up with, like, say, Bellator, right, who's got 6 attacks in melee range. So he'll go up and do his attacks, but it would always bring the resilient character down to 1 HP, even though he had multiple attacks. So this corrects that. So now those targets can be overkilled as long as there are enough hits from that character to defeat him. So I think this is going to be a really good change. Really good change for those of you fighting against Electro Priests, especially for the upcoming campaign event. This may make me want to revisit the Adeptus Mechanicus campaign event one more time, just to see how this change is applied. Because I think this should be really good, especially against, like I said, Electro Priests and also some of the Gene Stealer cult units. All right, everyone, that's going to do it for the patch notes this time around. Again, sorry it's a little late, but for those of you who have stuck around with me, thank you. I appreciate you being here. Take care, and I'll see you all in the next one.